Tom, we're good?
Yep, we're good. We're live.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March Town of Islip Town Board meeting. I'd like to begin by asking Councilman Jorge Guadron if he would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the
to
flag
the flag of the United
United
States
States
of
of
America
of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
stands one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all. Thank you. Here on the town board, we would like to pay tribute to two members of our Town of Islip family whose lives were recently lost. Late February, the town lost Islip resident Jesse Gerhard, a 12-year veteran volunteer of the Islip Fire Department, as well as a member of the New York City Fire Department. It was a line of duty death. We were all deeply saddened by the loss of this fallen hero, firefighter, who served the residents of our town with courage and valor. And our thoughts certainly are with him during his family at this difficult time. And this past weekend, we lost a colleague, a member of our information technology division, Peter Carey. Peter devoted his life to the town. He started with us part-time in 1973 at the age of 16. He continued for over a decade until 83 when he joined the information technology division full-time. Peter was a friend, a colleague, and really one of the main foundations of our IT team. Peter has 3 children, one of whom works with us in planning. He passed suddenly on Friday, and we are deeply saddened. So in addition to these two members of our Islip Town community, we'd also like to ask for everyone for this moment of silence in the spirit of the lives lost in the Ukraine and for all those in the Ukraine who are struggling. And we do hope that there will be peace soon. Thank you. Well, on the
You're on mute, Supervisor. You're on mute.
while COVID-19 has passed some limitations in the past months and quite frankly years on how we could celebrate some of those wonderful milestones here in the town, our town is honored more than ever to share in the importance of Women's History Month. The town is proud to celebrate the women in our communities for their dedication and commitment to their families and in all professional arenas. We celebrate women from all walks of life and the impact they have as mothers, caregivers, business owners, professionals, executives, teachers, nurses, grandmothers, and more. Those who help to enrich our town each and every day. Joining us today via Zoom is our Women's History Month honoree, Belle Pagdanigan. Belle, are you there? Hello and welcome.
I'm here. Thank you so much, Supervisor.
Great. Could you go on video? Could you start your video so we can see you?
There you go.
Oh, terrific. This month, we're recognizing Belle as part of our Women's History Celebration, and I'd like to share with our viewers a little bit about Belle and why she's being honored. Belle retired last week from her role of nearly 29 years as Government Relations Manager for National Grid. She worked closely with all levels of government, building close working relationships, collaborating with stakeholders, especially elected officials, advocating for the company's interests before policymakers, protecting the company's reputation, and always concerned about the community. She left briefly to work with Suffolk County at a time to help establish the first Asian American Director of the Office of Emergency Management, and later as Deputy Commissioner of Fire Rescue and Emergency Preparedness. Right at the heels of Hurricane Katrina and Rita, she managed Suffolk County's OEM staff with a charge to safeguard life and property of Suffolk County residents and apply the lessons she learned from these major disasters to improve planning, preparedness, and response. In 2008, she returned to her work at National Grid and joined the government relations team, where she continued her proactive efforts to position National Grid's initiatives with elected officials and stakeholders in the areas of gas infrastructure, expansion, investment, resiliency, and storm preparedness, consumer advocacy, gas safety and reliability, and compliance with gas system integrity. Belle was always our go-to person if we ever had any issues with grid, any residents ever had issues, we could always go to Belle. She was a member of the Governor's Long Island Regional Economic Development Council, the LIREDC, from its inception 11 years ago, and represented the Long Island region together with 10 other councils within New York State. The LIREDC has since won 4 top competitor awards and brought home $425 million in state funds for 470 diverse local initiatives and transformative projects on Long Island. Belle still currently serves on the Suffolk County Community College Board of Trustees, the Suffolk County Community College Foundation, and the Suffolk County Asian American Advisory Board. She continues to be active in her local community of Brentwood and North Bayshore, where she has been a volunteer firefighter for the Brentwood Fire Department for almost 25 years. She is currently a member of the not-for-profit called Cooking for Long Island Veterans, where volunteers cook meals and deliver home-cooked meals to our local homebound veterans. And if that isn't enough, she's also a member of the Brentwood Islanders Lions Club. She holds an MBA from Dowling and completed her Bachelor of Arts in Economics from the University of Philippines. Belle, your bio tells the story of a woman deeply devoted to the residents of Long Island and to your community as an untiring volunteer. You are so deserving of this recognition, and I know I share the feelings of all the members of the town board. So on behalf of all of them and all the residents of our great town, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Supervisor. Truly, truly is an honor. And I hope to continue doing all this volunteer activities for the community, especially for the town of Islip.
Oh, that's music to our ears, and we thank you so very much.
You can always count on me.
Okay, thanks so much, Belle. And
Thank
we'll
you.
be seeing you soon, I hope.
I'm hoping, yes.
This month, we also celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And after a 2-year COVID hiatus, many, many organizations are resuming their parades. So coming up this Saturday, the Bayshore Bright Waters Parade kicks off at 2 o'clock. The Mayport Blue Point Parade on Sunday, March 13th at 11 a.m. Brentwood, Saturday, March 19th at 1 p.m. Ronkonkoma is Sunday, March 27th at 2 p.m. And I know East Islip had a wonderful, successful parade last weekend. I would just urge everyone to double check all of those starting times. I hope everyone enjoys being together again, celebrating their Irish heritage, but please let's all be safe. And certainly we are hoping that with the commencement of this town board meeting and our change of zone this Thursday night, that hopefully, God willing, if all stays well, we'll be able to go back to live meetings. Also this month, we're kicking off the 11th annual Legislative Pet Food Drive Challenge with Long Island Cares. The challenge runs through May 31st, so stop by Town Hall West at 401 or Town Hall at 655 Main Street, starting next week, March 14th, and drop off any pet food donations you may have. And this year, we've been given a goal to break 20,000 pounds of pet food donations across Long Island. So let's all do our part. And I see Commissioner Ballou is on. I know that we've had the Betty White Challenge at the Adopt a Pet Center, our animal shelter, and that was very, very successful. So hopefully everyone will follow suit. And with that, we will go to the agenda. The first meeting on the agenda, and just to remind everyone, anyone who's addressing the board regarding any of the board of cleanup resolutions on today's agenda or the public hearing, to please either use the raise hand functions on Zoom or type into the Q&A line stating which particular hearing you wish to speak on. So we'll begin this afternoon with our scheduled public hearing for the board's consideration. I would ask the town attorney to please read the hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of Islip will hold a public hearing on March 8th, 2022 at 2 p.m. to consider amending the town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code.
Are there any questions from the board or the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing is closed and the motion carries. We will now move to the regular business before the town. The first item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. I will call upon a motion for the board to convene as the Town of Islip Industrial Agency Board. Is there a motion?
I'll make a
Motion.
motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullin, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? The board meeting is convened. A quorum is present. And I would recognize John Walzer to please lead us through his agenda.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the Industrial Development Agency Board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip. I have several items for your consideration this afternoon. The first of which is to approve the minutes from the February 8th meeting of the agency.
I assume everyone's reviewed the minutes. May I have a motion to
Motion to
approve?
approve the minutes.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved.
Thank you. The next item I have for your consideration is a resolution to approve, to appoint Brad Hemingway as Deputy Executive Director of the agency.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. The next item I have for your consideration is an authorizing resolution for a project that you induced at last month's meeting for Venture One Acquisitions on Vets Highway in Bohemia.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last item I have for your consideration is a resolution consenting to a sublease at 555 North Research Place in Central Islip.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by
Second.
Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And that is all I have for you today.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Walzer. And
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
we have a motion by
Second.
Councilman, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. We stand adjourned. Thank you. The next item is to clean up or secure certain properties on the town of Islip. Taryn, if you would.
Sure. Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor and members of the town board, town clerk. Karen Jewell, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. Number one, to demolish the structure located at 3 Pochog Avenue, East Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsafe structure, which is in immediate danger of collapse due to structural failure, disrepair, and neglect. The structure has been determined to be in imminent danger of collapse by our senior building inspector. The structure constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
We do have some speakers on this particular resolution. The first being Denise Sheridan. Tom, if you could type Denise in.
I have it as Dave as first, Denise second, and then Marianne as third, based on how they signed up.
Caitlin, I can't hear you.
On my list, Denise is here. I have it listed as David, Denise, then Marianne, based on their seniority of signing up.
All right, just bring the first speaker in, please.
Tracy, you have him online, right?
I do. I have
Okay,
David,
start.
Mr. Delavecchio here on my phone so he can speak to you. David,
Yes, I'm here.
go right ahead.
Hi. Do you want me to speak freely?
Yes, please, you're
Yes, we're all
addressing the board.
listening. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Andy. Okay. Yes, I'm looking for approval. I tried to get everything in order as far as the town and dealing with Public Works, Department of Health. All my plans are in, the HERS ratings are in. I did pass zoning approval, and it's been quite exhausting actually to deal with the Department of Health and the Public Works, but I've been on it from day one. So that is all into the town now, and hoping to, as well as the approved set of plans, and hopefully they're all good to go. So where I would be able to demolish the house and keep moving forward.
Is that it, David? Do you have anything else to add?
The house was, the way the house is now is the way the house always was, other than a small little section on the back was removed. So it wasn't something that I did to make it unsafe or whatnot. I just wanted to add that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Caitlin, if you could bring the other speaker in, please.
Denise has been added. Denise, if you could just unmute to address the board.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yes, I just want to say as a resident on the block, while I understand things do take a long time, permits, etc., but the house has not been maintained at all. No landscaping through the spring, summer, fall. The garbage that's all over the property. Things have been dumped on the property, electric heaters, ladders, and it's not cleaned up. There's now squatters that come down the block, and I've seen them. They bring a dog with them. The dog has ran out into the street numerous times because it's unleashed, and I'm afraid the dog's going to get hit. It's inviting, clientele there that shouldn't be. In addition, I've noticed some rats on the property. So it's unsafe. We have a raccoon problem in our yards. I don't know if it's any cause of that, but the problem has been going on for years. It hasn't been maintained. In the winter months, there's been wires that are hanging off the trees have hit the wires. It's not snow plowed, and there's ice all over the front of the property for people walking down the street. Again, a danger to children, a danger to adults walking around the neighborhood. So, and this is going on for years, 14 years. Yes, before the new property owner has been there, but the hazards just increase, and an accident can happen at any point. And I'm worried about children, animals, elderly in the community with the condition of the home.
All right, thank you very much, Denise. And if you could let the next speaker in, Marianne Brando.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Oh, thank you for your time. I want to agree with Ms. Sheridan. We've been cumulatively dealing with this property for about 14 years. And while I empathize with going through a zoning board, architectural plans. I believe it's been 2 years and the owner did buy the property in that condition. And I'm sure they don't keep their home in that condition with what we're living with. And with the cost of what we pay to live in these homes, 20 plus years, having to turn that corner or not turn the corner because we're avoiding looking at the home and dealing with the chaos that's going on in the home. There's been no security to board up the home with locks or anything to keep these kids out from doing drugs in there, because I'm sure that's what's going on. And, we just deserve better for what we're paying to live on the street. And we deserve to be proud about where we live and how hard we're working to pay these taxes. And, it's security and safety is one thing, but the overall value of what we're living with now is really disheartening. And, I've seen faster, I grew up in Brentwood. I've seen houses come down faster in Brentwood. We've been waiting 14 years for this home to come down. I mean, since it was seized by the government, when Maison Olay owned it, to Mr. Bono, who we work with Legislator Simley to constantly contact the owner to see if we could get the property cleaned up. This is not going on for just 2 years. So I just wanted to stress that.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Taryn, if you could go over the status of where everything is, because I was led to believe that the gentleman who purchased the property and has been trying to get these permits and everything was going in to rehabilitate the structure. And the photographs I'm seeing now, I see it boarded up in the front, open in the back, but I don't see anything other than a few garbage pails around. So, and these I assume were taken yesterday?
They were.
Okay. So if you could tell us what's going on, please.
Sure. My understanding is that Mr. Dellavecchio was started to work on the home in November of 2020 after he purchased it in September of 2020. The town then issued him a stop work order. So since that time, he's been going through the different departments here, but zoning, planning, and then now I know that his architecture, there were plans submitted last spring. They were denied. He then recently, literally this last Saturday, March 5th, submitted new plans. So those are with the building department now. But this is just in the last month or so, I think, when we started this action of bringing it to the town board's attention. So as of right now, my understanding is it's with building department, it has to be reviewed. And then from there, Mr. Dellavecchio can move forward with taking down the structure and rebuilding it the way that he wants. I just don't know if it will be approved by buildings. I don't believe they've been able to review them yet.
So is his plan to, because I thought it was to add on to the structure, but are you telling me he plans on taking it all down?
My understanding was he was going to take down and then rebuild on the same foundation, but a new structure. So it wouldn't look the same as it does now.
Okay.
I don't want to speak for him though, but that was my understanding.
Okay. Councilman O'Connor, I know that you had been diligently working on this with the neighbors. Did you have anything you cared to add?
I think Chief Doucette's email in response to this issue, which I had run through Mary Passaro, because I know when the applicant or the current property owner began doing work on the home, they did so without permits. They were issued a stop work order, and there were zoning violations for the foundation that was poured for the two extensions, one requiring both a front yard variance and one requiring a side yard variance because the foundation had been built encroaching on those zoning issues. So the applicant, as I understand it, went to the zoning board. Their variances were approved. They submitted new plans to the building department back in May. And I believe from our deputy building commissioner, Michelle, contacted me and said that the last they had heard from the applicant was on May 27th. And then on Saturday, the applicant then filed new plans. So there was a significant gap in there between May 27th and today. So I thought Chief Doucette's approach was probably the most reasonable one, in that the disconnects that would be required from the utilities before the demo could move forward would take some time. That would give the applicant time with his design professionals to work with our building department. And if they are serious about moving this construction forward, they would have the opportunity to do so before the town would then contract with the demo contractor to demo the property. I thought that was the best suggestion. I thought I agreed with the chief 100% on that we would pass this resolution today, as the neighbors have called us to do, and it would provide them, in the time that it takes for the utilities to do the disconnect, to urgently work on their building permits and improve this property as the neighbors deserve.
So are we suggesting to give time for that to happen, as we've in the past passed the resolution with, say, a 2-week lead time to make sure he gets all of his, ducks lined up and do what he needs to do to move forward with the approvals?
I would propose that we pass the resolution today with a drop dead date of saying, hey, listen, if you haven't done what you need to do by this date, the town is going to proceed with the demolition.
Okay, all right, that sounds fair. So supposing we look at April 1st. That's, less than a month, but more than 2 weeks. And that would give him ample time to do everything that he needs to do to satisfy, the building, the fire marshals and everyone else included, but especially the neighbors who have been living with this eyesore for so many years. So would you like to make that motion, Councilman O'Connor?
Thank you. I do make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to.
I'll second that, Supervisor.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilman O'Connor with a second by Councilwoman Mullen to go forward with the demo, giving him till April 1st to get everything lined up, and then they will proceed with due speed to do what needs to be done. Thanks, Taryn, for all your work on this, by the way.
Oh, no problem.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved.
And I just have one other item. Number 2 has been withdrawn today as there's a new owner of record. The fire marshals will continue to monitor, but it is withdrawn from today's agenda.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Taryn.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move then to item 3, an authorization for the supervisor to file an application for a state grant in aid for a household hazardous waste assistance program and signing off of the associated state contract under the appropriate laws of New York State for the years 2023, 24, and 25. Are there any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The next item are the bid awards. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
Second.
Second.
by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next, item 5 are the appropriation transfers. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Councilman Guardrone. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. We move then to item 6, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Islip Town Code, Chapter 13A, entitled Environmental Council. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. The next is a board approval to reappoint Victor Gramelli as a member to the Town of Islip Environmental Council Board. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 8, approval to reappoint Maureen Dunn as a member to the Islip Town Environmental Council Board. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is board approval to appoint Juan Carlos Delgado as a member to the Town of Islip Environmental Council Board. This young man had come before us when we were meeting live and expressed an interest along with a few others. And the members of the council interviewed them, and this gentleman is the one whose name was put forward. So I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 10 is a board approval permitting the Youth Bureau to host drop-off sites throughout the town to collect pass-through donation for the Teens to Jeans program. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is the approval permitting the Youth Bureau to collect pass-through donations for the prom dress boutique program. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next, item 12, authorization for the supervisor to enter into several agreements for programs to be held throughout the town to be funded either by registration fees or grant programs. It's so exciting to see these programs back in full swing. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guadron, second
Second.
by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is a board approval to extend the contract with Douglas Janssen to continue providing professional golf services at the Brentwood Country Club for the first 5-year option. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor,
Second.
second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is an authorization for the supervisor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the County of Suffolk for the town's participation in the Suffolk Works Employment Program and Youth Program. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guadron, second
Second.
by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 15 is an authorization for the supervisor to execute contract DPD 122 Roberto Clemente Skate Park with Laser Industries. I'm going to have to make a motion, unfortunately, to table this resolution at this point. We do not have all the funding in place. The bids came in quite a bit above what was expected. We're trying to identify the necessary sources of funding. I'm very, very hopeful that all the hard work that the town attorney's office did, along with counsel with the AG's office on securing money from those who had done the deeds they did in Roberto Clemente Park, that lawsuit, that we could use the proceeds of that to bridge the gap so that we could get going with the skate park this season, because if we don't do something soon, it'll be another year before it happens. So I'll make that motion to table. Second
Second.
by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next is a board approval of the list of eligible participants submitted by the 5 ambulance corps for participation in the 2021 Service Awards Program, known as the LoSAP program. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that
Second.
motion. All those in favor?
Recuse.
We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal. Next is an authorization for the supervisor to execute a request for FAA approval of agreement for a transfer of entitlements pertaining to the Mayport Aerodrome entitlement funds for fiscal year 2029 to Brookhaven Airport. Any questions?
Motion.
None. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next is a board approval to permit the Central Islip Fire District to construct a fire department substation at the premises located at 0 Eastview Drive in Central Islip. I received a statement earlier today from the Debbie Kavanaugh, who's the head of the Central Islip Coalition of Good Neighbors. They were very much in support of the construction of the substation. They felt it was necessary to keep their rating for homeowners insurance intact and not see an increase. Are there any questions at all on this? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen.
Second.
Did you have your hand up? I'm sorry, Councilwoman Mullen?
Second by
Oh,
Councilman
by
Guadron.
Councilman Guadron. Okay. All those in favor?
Recuse.
We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion passes. Next is an authorization for the supervisor to execute an amendment to the agreement with Sky Energy LLC for the purpose of providing professional consultant services to the Department of Aviation for development, implementation, and improvement of the airport's air service development program. That seems to be going swimmingly well. Since we met last month, Breeze Airways has commenced new service to 2 new destinations, Charleston, South Carolina, and Norfolk, Virginia. And I just heard last night that Frontier is resuming service to North Carolina.
Myrtle Beach.
Yes, yes. So, and there's more to come. So it's kind of exciting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by
Second.
Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Next are the special events, 2 St. Patrick's Day parades, 4 runs, the annual Brook Street cleanup sponsored by Kick. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Next is board approval to permit the town commissioners and/or department heads to apply for and complete any necessary applications or any additional documentation necessary to reserve grant funding, obviously with the understanding that ultimately they need to be approved by the town board. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next is an authorization to enter into a contract with Laser Industries for DPW 1-2022 furnish and installation of prefabricated buildings. Any questions? Hearing none, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is an amendment of the Town of Islip 2022 capital budget. Any questions? Hearing none.
Motion.
By Councilman O'Connor, second by
second,
Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 24, authorization of the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider a 5-year contract with the Village of Ocean Beach for fire protection and ambulance services to the Fire Island Fire Protection District. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 25 is an authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider a 5-year contract with the Village of Ocean Beach for fire protection and ambulance services to the Atlantic Fire Protection District. Any questions? Hearing none. Same motion, same second. All those in favor? Opposed? Next, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider a 5-year contract with the Village of Ocean Beach for fire protection and ambulance services to the Seaview Fire Protection District. Same motion, same second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Item 27 is an authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider a 5-year contract with the Village of Ocean Beach for fire protection and ambulance services to the Atlantic Marina District. Same motion, same second. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. The final item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. I'll call for a motion for this agency board to convene. Motion
motion,
by Councilman Guadron.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? The Islip Resource Recovery Agency Board meeting is convened. A quorum is present. And Marty, if you will. Marty, you're on mute. Thanks. Whoop, there you go.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Ballou, President, 401 Main Street, Islip, New York. I have 2 items for consideration today. The first is the approval of the minutes for the February 8th, 2022 agency board meeting.
Any questions at all on the minutes? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
second,
by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved. Marty, if you will.
The next item is an authorizing resolution for the president to enter into a contract extension for contract IRRA 2018-1 between the agency and Envirotech Leasing and Rental Corp. for the loading and transport of landfill leachate to in-county permitted disposal facilities from the Blydenburg Road Landfill Complex for the calendar year 2022.
Thank you, Marty. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullins, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Recuse.
We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. And I do believe that's it. By the way, that new destination or that destination that's coming back is Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. That Frontier is going to be flying to. So now's the time.
And that concludes the agency business for today.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn the agency board by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor, opposed. The agency board meeting is adjourned. And there is no other new business to come before the town board. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the town board.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by
Second.
Councilman Guadron. All those in favor, opposed. The town board meeting is adjourned. Everyone, please stay safe and we'll